It's not every day that you come into contact with an alien, and it's even more rare that you become best friends with one. But that's exactly what happened between myself and Morton, an Andromedan Science Officer. Hey friends, welcome back to Cosmic Hypnosis. I'm Bob, a hypnotherapist, Andromedan starseed, and ET contactee. In this video, we're introducing one of my favorite Andromedans and best friends, Morton. Morton first introduces himself through our hypnosis work soon after he intervened to save my life, but we originally met many years prior on an Andromedan scout ship. It's hard to put into words the deep connection that I have with Morton. Our soul connection dates back hundreds of millions of years, and he has been watching me in this lifetime since I incarnated on Earth. In recent years, we've been communicating daily. Our friendship is full of humor, but also a deep love, loyalty, and mutual respect. One of my greatest appreciations in this lifetime is my deep connection with Morton, and how our differing perspectives throughout this experience has helped us both grow exponentially, both as friends as well as on a soul level. Morton will be heavily featured on the channel, but first, we ask him to introduce himself a bit. Here's Alysse chatting with Morton.
Is it possible at this time to call in Morton, please?
Yes. Hello.
Hello, am I speaking with Morton at this time?
Yes. Hello, Alysse. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Morton?
I'm good. I missed you.
We missed you too.
Bob's basically my only friend, so I look forward to these sessions very much.
Oh.
I do a lot of looking at a computer screen.
That's interesting.
We will talk about it shortly.
Okay. Well, Bob says, hello, Morton. Are you interested in answering a few questions today that focus on you and your background that we can put out on YouTube or into a book?
Hello, friend. I very much look forward to this. And yes, we may start today.
Okay. Today's questions will be the start of our work moving forward then, if that's okay with you.
I'm very excited.
Bob would like for you to please tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and what do you do?
Hello, my name is Morton. I am the Chief Science Officer on an Andromedan scout ship that is currently located above your planet. My ship is led by our captain, Thias. Thias is an Andromedan diplomat, warrior, and, in many ways, leader of our people. Thias is also an Andromedan. His human counterpart has incarnated on Earth in an effort to work behind the scenes to help raise the consciousness of the planet through this work. You are currently hearing him speak as Bob. The channel that this information is coming through today is also a QHHT practitioner. He is a Solar Warden veteran who fights to defend the planet in the secret space programs. And as a result of being a starseed currently on the planet, he is connected to Thias, his Andromedan counterpart. And as a result, we have come to Earth to work with him, as well as other starseeds. But that is not the only reason that we are here. We hail from the Andromeda Galaxy. Our home planet is called Zenite. Zenite is predominantly a water world. There is vast ocean, similar to your planet here on Earth. It is a beautiful place. We are here to assist at this time in your soul evolution and ascension process as the shift moves near.
Okay. What does your job as Chief Science Officer entail?
I do many things here on the ship. One of my jobs is to watch the ongoing atmospheric conditions on Earth. I pay attention to the movement of your tectonic plates and the eruptions of your volcanoes. We pay attention to your storms and your tornadoes and your extreme weather events that happen near various population centers. We step in as necessary, sometimes muting eruptions from volcanoes or earthquakes caused by natural processes or human intervention through actions such as HARP that some humans are aware of, but yes, the government does have the ability to control the weather, and as a result, they have weaponized that against other governments, and so it is one of our concerns to watch this and step in when necessary so that humanity is not overly affected by the weather in that regard. I also monitor our starseeds. For anyone who is not aware, starseed is simply from your perspective, it is a human that is incarnated on Earth, but their soul is from elsewhere. Bob would be considered a starseed because his soul originates in the Andromeda galaxy, and a call was sent out to the universe, and souls like Bob volunteered to incarnate on Earth to help during this time of ascension, because it is extremely vital to allow developing species to move towards their development unencumbered by outside forces. But unfortunately, during this time on Earth, there are negative groups that are currently here on the planet that have made contact with Earth governments and people behind the scenes that are pulling their own strings and working to their own ends. And so as a result, we are here in large part to free humanity from the control schemes that be, to show them that there is a different way of being, and to show them that there are many things that we would like to enlighten humanity with. It just so happens that instead of making our presence known to humans here on Earth, we do so subtly through the use of starseed from our race, such as Bob. Other races do this as well through their own starseeds, but it is through these people that we have put on the planet that we do most of our work, and we remain behind the scenes as to not interfere with the ongoing development of humanity and the individual soul evolution of the beings currently incarnated on the planet.
Okay. Why put such emphasis on humanity as a whole? What makes us so special?
Well, I would argue that we would put emphasis on any group, no matter what planet we are on. We say humanity because we are currently here working with humanity, but if we were on a different group, a different planet working with a different group, we would be just as eager and just as concerned with their development and well-being as we are with yours, because it is important for every living being in the universe to have the free will to evolve at their own pace, evolve in their own way, and make decisions for themselves, because every being has free will, and that free will should not be trampled on. And so we would argue that it is important for any developing people. With that said, humanity is extremely, well, humanity does not realize the wonderful benefits that they have. Humanity has one of the most unique genetic stocks out of any planet out in the universe. There are many different race of beings on your planet. You have people that are currently located in different continents, but you have the Asian population, you have the European population, the white European population, you have the Middle Eastern population, you have the African population, South American population, Polynesian population. There's many, 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 many other groups on your planet that have different genetic makeup. They have different colored skin, they have different features, they have different genetic traits and different genetic markers and different abilities. They may be inherently good at different things. Now, we do not want to necessarily start listing those off, because to someone listening back to this, they may feel that we are being racist, but the basic fact is that different genetic groups on your planet have different abilities and different things that they excel at. And that is not something to look down on, but that is a blessing. But a lot of groups come to Earth and pick up some of these people and take genetic samples so that they can go on and do their work elsewhere, or so that they can continue on with their experiments. And it's hard to speak to the motivations of each group that is here, that is picking up people and working with humanity, but humanity is extremely rich in genetic biodiversity, and it's something that humans look down upon. They judge other people that aren't like themselves, and unfortunately humanity notices their differences and does not celebrate them as they should. But the things that make you different is what makes you beautiful and unique, and something that in time hopefully humanity can come to realize and recognize. With that said, Earth is a very beautiful place. There are a lot of natural resources on Earth, and a lot of these negative groups are interested in those negative resources, as well as the fact that Earth is an absolutely beautiful planet. And while there are other Earth-like planets out in the universe, it is something that is rather rare. Well, we say rare, but well, it's hard to put rare into context for an Earth human, because while we say Earth is rare, they might say, oh, well, wow, we're the only planet like Earth, and that's not the case. There are many planets like Earth, but the universe is a very vast place. People don't realize how many stars are out there. Look into a picture from the Hubble telescope, and you would see more stars than you can comprehend, and each of those stars can support many planets and many races. And then you have to realize that there are 12 different densities, and there are many different beings on those densities. And then you need to realize that there are many different timelines within those densities, and there is much opportunity for life to be living out and experiencing out in the universe. You just can't see it. There's life all around you on different densities. You just can't see it. There is life on other planets in your solar system, some of them on different densities, and you just don't have the technology yet to see it. Well, you don't openly have the technology to see it, but your governments have secret space programs that do have the technology to locate and identify that there is life on different dimensional planes of existence. You just can't see them with your naked eye, and so you don't believe that they are there, but they are there. Earth is also kind of out into the boondocks, as an Earth human would put it, but kind of out of the way on a spiral arm of the Milky Way. And so it's kind of in a unique jumping off position that makes it interesting for many groups to use as a base of operations, so to speak. So there are many reasons why people are interested in this planet. Us and the other positive groups are here to help humanity, well, through a mentorship role, through beings like Bob, or some of these groups work directly with your governments in a limited basis, trying to mentor rather than lead the way and give all the answers to. But we are here to help and assist in subtle ways, whereas negative groups are here to bend you to their will and work towards an outcome that would benefit these other groups, the negative groups.
Okay. Well, you've talked a little bit about Earth as a whole. What can you tell us about the Andromedans and their civilization? Perhaps your history or your government?
We're not getting into that today.
Well, then why don't we switch tracks a little bit, make things a little more personal, a little more lighthearted. What is it that Andromedans eat?
We are mostly fruitarians, is how I would put it, but we mostly eat fruit. We eat some vegetables, but we eat mostly fruit. With that said, our fruit is more nutritious than the fruit that you find on Earth, and so we benefit from it more than you would from eating a piece of fruit that you run into in the grocery store that has been heavily altered to grow, to look pretty, and to grow uniformly, and to provide you sustenance on a large manufactured scale. Our fruit is much more nutritious. But we do not eat meat. We do not eat other living beings.
What is the reason?
But I would like to say that we do not look down on other beings that still choose to eat meat. It is a choice that we have made. It does not make us better or worse than anyone else. It is just a decision that we have made along our evolutionary development. Well, you could call it spiritual development, but yes, we have decided as a collective to no longer eat meat.
Is that fairly common amongst extraterrestrial races?
More often than on Earth, but there are several groups who have made the choice to continue to eat meat. It's an individual choice.
Okay.
Some groups have found the way to artificially replicate meat in a replicator that is similar to the way that we replicate some of our fruit, but so not everybody eats a living being technically, but yes, there are several groups that continue to eat living beings. There are several groups out here that are more militaristic than others. They hunt for sport. They're more combat focused. They are like warrior class species, but some of those species trend in the positive direction, and so that combat is done against these negative groups out here. But some of those groups continue to eat meat. It's just a way that their culture is developed. Just different than ours. But everybody grows up on a different planet with different circumstances and different available food.
Okay.
So it's impossible to judge what another group does. And as I stated before, just because two beings are at different levels in their spiritual evolution does not make one better than the other. It's just different. Personal choice.
Okay. You had mentioned that there are many different races on Earth as well as in space that are of different densities. What density are the Andromedans, and can you explain this concept?
Well, I would say that there are many Andromedans that are at different levels of evolution. We are not collectively at the exact same level of evolution, just as many beings on your planet are not at the same level of evolution. The vast majority of our group is somewhere in the fifth dimension. Fifth dimensional evolution is how I would put it, but that is not the case for everybody in our race. And but I would also like to state that there are circumstances such as Bob is currently living in a 3D body, but his soul experience is at about 5.5, if you were to measure that in terms of density through Bob's lessons and experiences that he has gone through in this lifetime and his other lifetimes. But Bob, in his human body, expresses as a 3D being because he is in a 3D body that is limited to do 3D things. But Bob's soul is at an evolutionary standpoint that is significantly further along than his current human body. With that said, Thias, Bob's Andromedan counterpart, is currently, if you were to examine his soul evolution, he would be categorized at the 5th dimensional level, with his human counterpart being further along in his spiritual development. Now, how can that be possible that Bob the human is further along in his spiritual development than Thias the Andromedan? Well, that is the case because Thias the Andromedan his lifetime is technically before Bob's. Bob is living a lifetime after Thias, and Bob has gone through many, many, many life experiences that Thias has not gone through. Bob and Thias' soul chose these life experiences on Earth so that they could grow as a soul. Bob has gone through many, 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 many very harsh life events, and any one of these life events had the potential to cripple his entire life, but Bob was able to face these events. He was able to overcome these events, and he was able to integrate the lessons from them into his life, and he was able to make himself a better person as a result. And as a result of that integration of these lessons and experiences, Bob was able to move along his evolutionary path and make significant change in his lifetime on Earth. And Bob is not alone in that fact. There are many beings that will make significant evolutionary strides in their time on Earth. Earth is a school, and so people incarnate on Earth and they go through many hardships. And these hardships are experienced because Earth is a duality, and there is good, there is bad, there is happiness, there is sadness. There is a lot of people on Earth that are very good people. There is a lot of people on Earth that are very bad people. With that said, good people make mistakes, bad people make mistakes. Your experiences are here to be had to help you and aid in that evolutionary journey that you are on. Whereas in a lifetime on a planet such as Zenite, you are going to have a vastly different experience. Thias is surrounded by 30 members of his soul family here on the scout ship. We all love each other. We all support each other. We are all championing each other, believing in each other. We have a very positive society. We are all very supportive and loving at all times. With that said, we do get frustrated. We do have disagreements and we do butt heads occasionally. But overall, we are a very, very positive group and we do not have a lot of the negativity that you deal with on Earth. And so we have a vastly different experience, and we do not have as much pushback or as much we don't have hardship in the same way. And as a result, we do not have to overcome certain lessons in the same way. And for that reason, many beings on Earth are able to make significant strides in their evolution, whereas it would take a lot longer for a being from Andromeda or a Pleiadian or an Arcturian or a member of a different race to make similar growth, because the experience of living in these places is just vastly different. Living a 3D reality is vastly different than living a 5D reality. It's vastly different than living a 7D reality. But as we evolve, we continue on in our soul and spiritual evolution, and we move on to these higher densities to experience life in a different capacity. And then many of these beings that are positively oriented turn back to help others move along, and that's what's happening here on Earth. The Andromedans and my group from Zenite, we have turned back, so to speak, to help those in need that are at a lower density move along in their soul evolution, free from the constraints from these negative beings that are here to further their own ends. We feel that humanity should be free to make their choices and to learn and to experience on their own. And so that is why we are here.
Okay. Sort of answered some of these questions here. So, Out of all of the people on Earth, why are you working with Bob to bring this information forward?
We are working with Bob because he is one of our starseeds. And we are working with Bob because he is Thias's soul. Thias is, as I stated, he is the captain of our scout ship, but he is also one of our most important diplomats. Bob and Thias's soul has worked with Andromeda, has worked with Zenite for over 550 million years. Bob's soul has been vital to the development of our race. Bob's soul has been personally present at many vital junctures in Andromedan history. Bob was there, present during the fall of Lyra in his incarnation as Thias, working directly with the royal family to attempt to broker an agreement with the Draco Empire that eventually failed, and Bob was there to help evacuate the Lyran royal family as well as the Princess of Lyra. Bob was present in his lifetime as Thias when Andromeda and the Arcturians made contact and made our agreements and created a working relationship that would be vital to the development and safety of both of our races. Bob was there to broker many other agreements. And when the call was put out for people to go to Earth, Thias stood up and he decided to incarnate on Earth. And when this call went out to the universe, there were many meetings that were had among our various groups, one of them being Andromeda, the Lyrans, the Pleiadians. Many of these groups are deeply interwoven. And so Bob decided to incarnate because of his vast history being an enemy of the Draco Empire and standing against them at every turn. And so we decided, well, we didn't, but Bob decided, along with other souls that agreed to incarnate on Earth, and Bob is on Earth currently, working to enlighten humanity, to show people that there is a different way of being, that they can break free of the matrix, that they can, be a service to others being and provide those services to other people. And in an act of providing those services, they can pay a new way for themselves to live. They can create income in their own way. They can live a lifetime that is not affected by outside forces, that is teaching them to stand up on their own 2 feet and be a pillar for the community and humanity and their evolution as a person, but as also their evolution as a soul and their evolution helping the people around them move forward as well. Bob is here to show people, well, he's to be the go-between between humanity and many extraterrestrial races. Bob, due to his soul history and his time with many, many, many extraterrestrial races in space over the course of 550 million years, working as one of Andromeda's most important diplomats, is going to be able to use that soul history and stand in front of groups such as the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Tall Whites, the Emerthers, and many dozens and dozens of other races that will come in contact with Bob throughout his lifetime. Bob has had contact throughout his entire lifetime with us, Andromeda. He was abducted throughout his life. Well, we say abducted, but he was picked up, is the term we like to use with our starseeds, throughout his entire life by other groups to work with them. But now Bob is at a time in his lifetime where he will be openly picked up on a regular basis. He will be the go-between between humanity and these groups, and he will bring forth the information that these groups want him to share. There is a lot of mentorship that we would like to do with the people of Earth, but it is impossible for us to come down in our craft and provide you that mentorship directly. As soon as we show up in the sky above your cities, or we walk amongst you, you are going to look at us as gods and ask us to solve all of your problems. And that is not something that we can do. We cannot come down and solve all of your problems for you. If we did, you would learn nothing. there would be no growth, there would be no improvement, you would not improve as a group. You would go backwards. You would look at us as gods. To many of you, we are superhuman. We have the ability to do many incredible things compared to a typical Earth human. Even just the fact that one of us can levitate would be mind-blowing to the average human. And so if you put a race of people on the Earth that has the ability to do feats of healing, among other things, in a similar way that Jesus did, well, you have an entire civilization now that is similar to Jesus walking among you. We do not want to be worshipped in the same way that Jesus was worshipped. We are beings from elsewhere. We are simply trying to help mentor you along, but it is the information that is important for you to focus on. It is not us. And so we choose our star seeds carefully that we impart this wisdom with, and then we set them out back on the planet to go be a voice for us. It is just a very unique position where Bob is going to be the voice for many, many groups, and he's going to bring much information forward. It's going to be a very unique situation. Very unique situation compared to the situations that you've run into before with disclosure, movement, personalities. But the difference here is Bob doesn't want to be a part of any of this. Bob doesn't want to be a part of the disclosure movement. Bob doesn't want to be a part of the really any of this. Bob would much rather go live in a cabin in the woods somewhere and not ever have to run into anybody ever again. But here we are, because this is Bob's life work. This is Bob's plan. This is why Bob came to Earth. So he must fulfill his life purpose. And in doing so, he is going to help many people grow and expand their consciousness and be able to shift into the 5D Earth, whereas a lot of these people that Bob is going to impact and touch with his work and our information and all the questions that Bob is able to ask and answers that Bob is able to bring forth are going to help people move along this beautiful experience that ultimately culminates in the shift where these people will shift into the 5D Earth, and those negative beings that are not ready to move into this new Earth will stay behind. And when they are ready, they will shift, but they need more experience.
As always, a big thanks to our patrons for your ongoing support of the channel, allowing us to do this work, and to you for checking out our content. To hear more insight from our ET friends, check out our detailed playlists here on Cosmic Hypnosis, and head over to our Patreon for the stuff we can't release publicly on YouTube, as well as membership tiers featuring discounts on your next session with us. If you're interested in finding your purpose for incarnating on Earth, where your soul comes from, how you can best navigate your life, and hearing ideal advice by you for you, check out the links in the pinned comment for booking a session with Alysse or myself today. We look forward to learning and growing with you. I'll catch you in the comments and see you in the next one. Later.